Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Moments away, we're going to discuss about taking care of those engines on your small devices before winter hits. But first, farm defense.
Farm and garden in the ultimate comfort. Farmer's Defense has lightweight and durable sleeves to protect you against the elements while farming. Farmer's sleeves offer unparalleled protection of arms and skin for any farmer, gardener, or outdoor worker. Say goodbye to irritated skin and sunburns in the garden. Their sleeves offer cooling comfort protection against the elements outdoors. An alternative to thick clothing, Farmer's Defense is made of wicking material with UBF protection factor 50+ to protect you from allergens and scratches. To find all their great products and more, visit farmersdefense.com.
So, as winter comes, you're going to have to take care of some of those small engines, whether it's a tiller, lawnmower, weed eater, or anything in between that you might be using, edger, in order to keep them healthy and happy all winter long so they will work for you in the spring. And there's some ways in which we can do this.
Right. So when we're talking about the small engine things, we're talking about things like weed eaters, chainsaws, lawnmowers, even a possibly snowblower. For in the springtime, you might want to think about that, and then even like a riding lawnmower, because those are becoming, I think, more and more popular as they're coming down in price.
Right. Now, this is only for things that take gasoline. We don't know the battery stuff. That's on your own. If you've got that, that's on your deal.
I think you just unplug it.
Well, they're not plugged in anyway. That's why they're battery. So anyway, riding you on some of the
it was kind of a joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to add a stabilizer to the fuel and run it for about 10 minutes in order to get it to circulate through the system. Now, other people may just run the fuel out of the engine completely to clean the carburetor completely out. Now, with these small engines,
you might want to run it out and make sure you're not far away from where you park it.
Right. Yeah. Now, riding lawnmower is different because riding lawnmower and push lawnmowers, they have a fuel and oil separated. The two cycle engines, your weed eater or your chainsaw, which you're probably going to be using for the winter, those things require a oil mixture in the fuel. And you want to get the high octane, the 93 is recommended at the fuel pump because it doesn't contain ethanol. Ethanol is the corn-based fuel, the E85 stuff. That's not good for these small engine carburetors. They will eat the carburetor out, and then you got to replace the carburetor. Now, it's not instantaneously. If you use the low octane, the 87, 88, that contains the ethanol in it, the engine will run fine, not a problem. But if you let it set for long term, it will not fire off or fire on very easily because the carburetor, that ethanol will eat that carburetor. And so then you want to, if you do choose to use that type of low-grade fuel, you want to run it through the system, use it up, and then put more in the next time. So you want to check on items that have oil in them separate from the fuel. Check the oil filter, check the if it needs to be changed, do it now so it's ready to go in the spring. Check the belts. Are the belts loose? Don't go down this road. Well, it's kind of okay. Maybe it'll make through another season, because it's not going to.
No, and that could be frustrating if you're in the middle of trying to mow your lawn.
The rain's coming. And you're pushing hard, and the belt goes, and it's not, no.
Or you might be having like a party the next day or something, and you don't want the mosquitoes to eat you alive, and you're trying to mow the grass. And
now, a good professional homeowner, Holly, will have
a professional homeowner
will have a backup. We'll have an extra belt. We'll have an extra oil filter. We'll have an extra quart of oil. So there's always farmers are like this too. That if you need, have a certain belt for a tractor, you've got two extra. You always have two extra, no matter what. You always have two of everything, because when one goes bad, then you put that extra on, then you still got an extra, then you got to remember to get an extra for the extra.
I have like backup shampoo and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think that's quite the same.
I'm just saying.
If you run out of shampoo, that doesn't prevent you from getting the field cut from hay or harvest or the grass cut.
I like to have, clean hair.
Okay.
So anyway,
clean the dirty surfaces off your lawnmower deck, under the under the surface. You take a hose and blow it out, because letting that set there is the long-term effects of it is going to cause the deck to rot. So at the end of the season, even after you've cut wet grass, doesn't hurt to take and spray all that grass out from underneath the deck, whether it's push or riding lawnmower. It's not good, and it's not good to cake up, because if you get too much caked up, then it's going to bog the motor down, and you're already bogging the motor down when you're cutting the wet grass, because it's got to get cut.
Right. Okay. Yep. So then you want to also cover the machine while storing, which I think that if you put it in a garage is probably
right.
okay. But if you don't, maybe you don't, or you just have like
you
one
have
of
to
those,
park it out behind a outbuilding. Yeah.
Yeah, or like you just have like a carport or something.
Right.
You want to make sure that it's covered, keep it out of the elements, etc. And then disconnect the battery. Does that sound right?
Yeah, you can disconnect the battery. Also, professional homeowners will have a battery charger.
Professional homeowners.
Yeah, professional homeowners. You can be a homeowner, but you can be a professional homeowner that you know what's going on.
I feel like this is some sort of HGTV promotion.
No, it's
Are you
just
a professional homeowner?
If you're going to do things and you want to have less frustration, it's always better to be prepared for. Always have a backup of things you're going to need, and have your car battery goes dead, lawnmower battery, whatever. You have a battery charger. A quick charge or a trickle charge or whatever the case is, have a backup or
Right.
have a charge, and check your battery, because batteries don't last forever. If it didn't start very good this year, it's probably going to not start very good or not at all next year. And if you've got to replace parts of the lawnmower. And here's the thing with lawnmowers, with weeders, there are certain ones that are extremely high technical that, like 4 people in the world knows how to work on it type of thing. But for the vast majority of these equipment, chainsaws, weed eaters, edgers, lawnmowers, fill in the blank, snow blowers, you can do it yourself. YouTube is a phenomenal piece of equipment. And for every 7 or 8 excellent videos, there's 2 or 3 that are just junk, but you have to do a little sorting out. But there are videos which will walk you through every single nut and bolt and move that you need to make in order to replace a coil or a belt or a blade or whatever the case is. There's videos on there, and will save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars instead of taking it to the local mechanic and have to pay them to do it. You're capable of doing it, whether you're a male, female, or in between. You can do it yourself. Don't say you just because. And we talked to several people in other aspects of life, and they said just because you've never done it doesn't mean you can't do it.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that because you have so much access to this information. Now, if you do come across a YouTube video and it seems a little shoddy.
It is.
Or you're like, that doesn't seem right. Use your best judgment. And especially if maybe they only have like a couple subscribers and they're, I don't know. They have to be professional, but you can kind of tell. Yeah.
So handheld equipment, blowers, leaf blowers, we forgot to mention that, edgers and all that. You want to drain the fuel, run it out, and then once empty, pour a small amount of the 50-to-1 pre-mix fuel that will add a protective coat to the engine during storage. Now, always keep fuel on hand with that 50-to-1 mix, if that is what is required. Lawnmower fuel. Fuel will go bad. It will go bad, but I forget, what is it? 30, 60, I forget what the actual time frame is on it, that it was but we've had fuel in fuel tanks for a long time, more than 30 days, and it was fine. But anyway, start and run the unit till it's completely gone. We talked about that. Replace the filters. So the 50-to-1 ratio, we got time for a little story here. The 50
it's your story time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 50-to-1, it's you get the little bottle, and it's one of the little bottles for one.
So you knew what this was?
Yes.
Okay.
With the chainsaw we've got, you got a mixture and the weed eater and all that stuff. So there's larger bottles that are for 2.5 gallons, and the smaller bottles are for 1 gallon. You mix the oil in, and then you put the gas in, and that's the mixture, because these engines don't have a separate oil capacity. It's a mixture of fuel, and that's how it lubricates the engine. So I guess it was sophomore year in algebra half, and the teacher said, now what if you have he gave some equation of, you have a 2.5 gallon fuel can and you have a little bottle of the 50 to 1. What is the ratio to do that? And I said, well, just get a 1 gallon jug and the small thing, and you can do it very simply. That was not the answer. Because on the farm, we had 1 gallon and we had the mixture, and you just mixed it, boom, and you kept moving. You didn't have to do any formulation or an equation of going, well, I've got this and I've got 7/8 of this gallon. It was just dump and go. Make life simple.
Yeah, but math teachers aren't about that.
No, they're in a different realm.
Yeah, they very much are. One time my math teacher was talking about the legs of pigeons and the roofs that they sit on or something, and I was like, what? Okay, so anyway.
Yeah. Spark plugs. You really don't need to change your spark plug, but about every 100 hours is a good indication that you just want to, take it out, see if you got engine problems, you're going to notice an excessive amount of oil on your spark plug. If you're having foul plugs, if things are not going well, that's an indication that something's going on, and that you might be more internal than what you think. But yes, regular maintenance on that is a good thing.
Yep, and then just anything like if it needs an air filter.
You can blow the air filters out of some of these, but if it gets to the point where it's been multiple years and the white is like brown because there's so much dirt impregnated into the filter that is not removable, that's choking the air to the engine, and you're losing horsepower and you're burning excess fuel in order to get the machine to do what it needs to do.
Right, but just things like that, like you mentioned, the belts, the air filters, etc.
And a clean engine, clean chainsaw, weed eater, motor, going to work a lot better.
Absolutely.
And it's safer too.
Because
you're not fighting the dirt.
You don't need to get jammed up or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being said, you just keep in mind, if you got questions, you can certainly email us at gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can do you can go to the World Wide Web and go to that YouTube, and there's a lot of wonderful information on that in which can save you, again, hundreds of dollars. Take it in the garage, in the shed. If your wife's not around, put it in the dining room floor, take it apart, and get it.
Maybe the wife would like that.
Maybe the wife would take it apart.
Maybe the wife will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask nicely, please.
Yeah. Don't be hating on the wives.
There are some of them that don't want nothing to do with that.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But there's also some husbands that don't want nothing to do with that either.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
You be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, also, who is good? Phylum Bioproducts, Holly.
Yeah, just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles. They may be gone, but they're not far. Not only did they feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs on your turf so they can start again next year. Take a stand with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granule that specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae. Simply apply the granule with a spreader, irrigate it into the soil, and let the naturally occurring bacteria do its job.
Not only is Grub Gone easy to use, but it is the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs. And the best part about it, it's non-toxic to bees and other beneficial insects. So Grub Gone has no label restrictions for around flowering plants. So you don't have to worry about killing those beneficial insects that pollinate your garden. To find out more, go to grubgone.com or visit phyllumbioproducts.com.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.